Well, hello and welcome to the Andrew Eborn Show. We're taking a trip to the wild, wild west with the radio laureate himself, the wonderful Mike Reed. How you doing, Mike?
Something's happened on your shoulder. There's something red. Is it blood?
It looks like it, doesn't it? No, but this is like your waistcoat. You see, this is. I thought we're taking a trip down the wild west. I thought we'll have a shirt and a waistcoat. What do you reckon?
If there's somebody in Regent's Park with a shotgun in the morning, they won't be able to miss you. It's a bit like that that cartoon that there were two deer in the forest, and one has a massive target on his chest, and the other one says, "Bummer of a birthmark, Hal."
Absolutely. Yeah. Deer, we love it. No idea, and all those old jokes. Still no idea with no legs. We remember all of those. We love these sort of things. It's got to be good. But we're celebrating what was actually quite a sad day, wasn't it? It started off as rather good stuff. On the 24th of January, 1848 was the start of the gold rush. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was. California, it was California Day, and I thought, well, what do you do about California? I thought, oh, I'll do something on the gold rush, because, the song Clementine came out of that and what have you. And it was a pretty good period. It was a period where the population just boomed from a few hundred to tens of thousands for obvious reasons. And 300,000 people piled in on sea and land and stuff like that. Some struck it rich, some became phenomenally wealthy, others went back with less than they come with. So it was one of those, get rich quick. Someone's found gold, and they all came and staked their claim. And of course, there are side issues which are rather important as well. But it's an interesting one. Of course, in human nature, somebody says, "I found something that can make you rich quickly." Yes, please, says everybody.
And it was extraordinary. It's James W. Marshall who was the first one who discovered it, and you wonder why he didn't keep stum.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he had a store in town, and he said, "Hey, look what I found," which is a bit of a daft thing. It's a bit like, I think, winning the lottery, isn't it? If you won £20 million, why would you announce it? Because in the long run, it's not doing you any good. If you give friends and relations £10,000 each, they're going to ask, why do you give them £20,000 each? Or you can afford it after all, £50,000 each. So whatever you do is not enough. I think it's much better to be a magwitch, keep quiet about it, and be a mysterious and silent benefactor without revealing your name. You can still help those people by just putting money in. Where did that come from? Mysterious benefactor, rather than announcing that it's you, because whatever you do won't be enough for people.
You're absolutely right. And 300,000 people. And you're right to touch on the sad issues as well about the day, about the Indigenous population, because it was all about, there were no property laws or anything. People just come in and stake their claim, wouldn't they, to their bit of land?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. They were making up the rules as they went along. I mean, and often people were promised. I mean, a lot of the people that went out to form the colonies out there, the early settlers were promised, 100 acres. Come out, we'll give you same with Australia. Come out, we'll give you 100 acres, 200 acres. There was enough land to do that. Of course, not always good land like Australia. I mean, it was, most people living clinging around the edges rather than in the middle. But yeah, they were promised, a good chunk of land if they went out there. But then again, you had to work it like anything in life. You could be given something, but you still have to roll your sleeves up and work. It doesn't just, do itself. You have to, if you're a gold prospector, if you're more canny, you're more likely to do, make money than the people who aren't quite so canny. Where would you go? Upstream, downstream? If you go too far downstream, everyone's strained it before it's got to you. It's just basic stuff like that.
And they always say that they were very lucky. Well, actually, what you find is that the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah. The old line, absolutely right. It's quite true. It's quite true. You've got to work. It's like anything. People put something up online. They say, "Well, I put it up online." Yeah, but you still got to get people there. You still got to market it. You still got to PR it. It's like opening a shop. You can't just open a shop. Why would people want to come in? Anything you're trying to sell. Why would people come to your shop? The same with radio stations. Why will people come to our radio station and not another one? Why will people come to a TV channel and not another one? There are so many choices now. So you have to have a USP. And of course, with you, it's the fashion. People come here to see what you're wearing.
And with you, it's the heritage, and they want to. They come every time to see whether we've saved up enough to buy you that button. We still got those bits and pieces. But
we should credit, by the way, in terms of your clothes, we should credit Mr. Byright. I think before we go on.
That's always a thrill, Mr. Mike Reed and Byright. It's got to be good. So wonderful stuff. So tell us all about then Radio Laureate. Tell us about the Californian Gold Rush and California Day.
Who could forget the gold rush of 1848? We packed some food and drink and headed off at a speedy rate. We didn't want to be late for what was soon to become the 31st state. No one else to blame if you don't stake your claim. How do you house and look after 300,000 who came by sea and land and shovels and picks in hand to get rich quick and be underhand and steal the land from the native tribes with deeds falsified by local scribes? They looked for seams, they sieved the streams, they made a fortune in their dreams. The peak came a year later for the miners. That's why they called them 49ers. As in the rhyme, oh, my darling Clementine, he was a miner 49er and his shoes were number 9. But if the mine proved rich, there was no hitch in buying shoes or anything you choose. To hell with the Mexicans in Santa Ana. Before the land was pillaged, San Francisco was just a village. Population 2,000 until the land was plundered. And within a year or two it grew, all because of the gold to a town with 36,000 souls. No real planning, just prospectors panning. They lived in shacks, but for some they left us as they came, with just the shirts on their backs. But some made stacks. The equivalent today of billions were made. Money and greed was what it was all about, but nobody heard the small, still voice shout, "You've driven the indigenous people out."
Somber note to finish on. You're absolutely right. Mike, as always, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. See you at Mr. Byright.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye. So thank you again to the wonderful Radio Laureate, Mike Reed. Always a delight to catch up with him. If you have any suggestions for guests or topics you'd like us to cover, you can write to me at guests@octopustv.com. That's guests@octopustv.com. Don't forget, you can follow me at Andrew Eborn at OctopusTV and subscribe. Do it now. It's free. And you'll be kept informed of all the exciting things that we have got lined up. But for me, for now, thanks so much for being my guest, Mike Reed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.